Hey there and welcome back to our Elden Ring lore playthrough, as we just kind of take our time through the game, read the item descriptions, just look at things without just saying what the answers are. Like, what's a skeleton in Radigan's closet? Like, we're not just going to say that stuff outright, you know, we're going to explore it and find the answers as we go. Have we're in kind of like the interior section of this wall. My game is stuttering, but this one might be a long one. I think I'm going to try and have all of this be kind of like one video. Maybe. I might cut it short. You guys will know already. I don't know yet. But first thing I want to do, I want to cut down on this section. So we can see there is some ruins here. There's probably some stuff in the periphery. We've also got a cave right there, etc., etc. There's a couple things I wanted to note. And there you can see the church thing right there in the distance. Other animals. Looks like a camp thing right there. We'll hit the chapel thing first. But one of the things I want to note, right, because like I said, every time I go through and I edit things, I start making like new connections as I go. But I was going to talk about the misbegotten, right, and how, all right, I'm getting distracted because I see different things already, but the misbegotten, right, we see them kind of around in here, right, they were on some camps over here, we found some randomly way up in here at some of the windmill places, but then like ultimately, where did we actually find some more? Down here in the unsightly catacombs. And so I wonder if maybe they somehow like kind of escaped from there, like they were kind of out there. They could have just been various servants or slaves that escaped in the process of the shattering and whatnot, and then they just ended up where they were, because the catacombs were sealed up by an imp seal. And that being said too, that means Trisha was probably trapped in there for potentially a really long time, right? But look at this tree guardian. So on the back, you know, we've always seen the stumps. Now, some of them have various stages. So like this one is one very tall and it has flowers, where the ones down in Caelid over by one of the like the rot guardian spirit dragon Erdtree avatar, they had like very short like stumps, like they had broken off or something, or they just weren't very progressed. But obviously his way higher up, and it's got some nice flowering on there. Almost, I would say it's almost like, you know, Miranda flower like, but you know, it's not exactly the same, but it is very cool. Look how it's got the nectary spots. I'll have to pull up the item and see how it looks. And even there you can see it's buds waiting to happen, which, you know what that's like, is a lot like these like charms that we have from the ancestral followers, you know, budding horns. And see how it's, you know, on the ends of the horns it's got like just the sprouts and buds waiting to go. And so this is kind of got a interesting parallel, right? Because they die, but they like kind of get this cycle of rebirth, and maybe as they go they sprout these tree things and then it buds, you know, like the horns. So it's, I don't know, I find that to be an interesting parallel. Miranda powder, I guess it kind of looks like it, not entirely the same though. But it's interesting that he's here because there is no Erdtree here, right? Like we can clearly not see one at all. Oh, you can see him in the ground there too, right? See it? It's like he's waiting there and he's just sprouting up as a plant. Ah, minor Erdtree church. See, there's the reason why. It's like a minor Erdtree sprouting up. Now this one is called a minor Erdtree church. So was the church built around it? I guess they probably take a very long time to grow, right? I mean, if they're big trees, like trees take a long time to grow. So this one's probably been in the process of growing for a while now. But look at the sheen on the side of it. We'll pick up the item in a second. It's very different from the other ones where they're very much just like bark. And if you look right here, see there's some other ones that have the same kind of coloration, and their leaves are very golden-like as well, which is not quite the same as some of the others. And that, I mean, the Erdtree looks blinding white right now. So it's interesting because this one is different. It's smaller. It's a new sprout. Maybe it hasn't settled into its like age yet or something, and so it doesn't have that dark coloration to it. You know, I'm not sure. But we do find a Golden Order seal. Now maybe that guy was here because, you know, there's some significance between, you know, Golden Order and the Erdtrees, which makes sense because, I mean, they are tight, like closely bound together. Golden Order seal, a formless sacred seal depicting the ceremonial observation of order. Enhances Golden Order fundamentalist incantations. Fundamentalism is scholarship in all but name. Scales incantations using both intelligence and faith. So it's saying it's that in every single name. So they are basically scholars. So they're scholars of order, you would say, right? Depicting the ceremonial observation of order. So they're interested in order. And you can see part of like what that order probably is like the Elden Ring, right? And we can see it right there, that overlapping 3-ring thing. But what's interesting about that is a lot of times when you see some other depictions of it, there's a lot more going on with it. Like it's, oops, I don't know why I hit all those buttons. It's a lot more than just like those. Like there's the arc, the rune arc, and all these other pieces and stuff to it, where this one is like right there. But see how it is also like fundamentalism. It's like kind of the like basic roots, I would say. So maybe that's like the idea. And it's also interesting that it's a triangle, right? It's a triangle, 3 rings. There is a line going down the center, right? So like maybe it somehow divides it in some way. But it makes sense that if they're going to be essentially the scholars of their faith, that this also uses intelligence. And another thing to note is that this one is formless. So if you look, it has no weight. Like it does not have an actual physical form. So a lot like this one, a formless Drake blood seal with a dragon communion crest. And hence this is the dragon communion stuff. So kind of the same thing right here, right? Formless. Wonder if, I don't know, Melina hasn't had a lot to say at any of these churches in a while. Maybe she does. Excellent.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you?
I'm interested.
In Marika's own words, I declare mine intent to search the depths of the Golden Order through understanding of the proper way. Our faith, our grace is increased. Those blissful early days of blind belief are long past. My comrades, why must ye falter?
Outer Order. Interesting. Huh, so she, she declares her intent. Very intentional, right? So she's probably telling it to people, right? And she did say it at the end, my comrades, why do you falter? But her clear intent of like plumbing the depth of the Golden Order. And like even in this seal that we got, right? It says to ceremonial observations of order. It's a scholarship, skills, incantations. So it has to do with like what is like at the base of the order, right? Not just blind faith, like, oh yes, absolutely, it is good. Like, no, she's now like taking, I would say, like, that scientific scholarship approach to it to see like what's at the base of it all. Like, why do we have the faith? Why should we have the faith? Not just like, wow, look, the Erdtree just gives us bounties and goodies and stuff, so we should follow it, And even what the Erdtree says later, that it, once the blessings dried up, it became more of a symbol of faith and less like, less like a pure, just like it is doing this thing. It was just like a symbol. It was a symbol. It wasn't actually doing a thing. And so that's probably part of why they ended up going into like search for the depths and the truth of it. Look, what's here, bud? It's probably like a rune arc or something. You can see he does have a little bud there too, but his hasn't sprouted yet or bloomed. A smoldering butterfly. Interesting. Do you think he was like really fascinated by it because, it's burning in fire? Another thing to note, one last thing for this church, right? There's, well, 2 things, I guess. One, jars. Interesting. I mean, that's pretty par for the course since they do seem to show up around these, minor Erdtrees. But there's also no Erdtree avatar or anything like that. So maybe it's just not old enough to have one. You can get their chest piece. I was kind of hoping to get it. Maybe I'll take some time to farm it later and I'll cut in me getting it. Now we'll check out this camp over here. Oh, look, there's a one of those funeral carts. Summon sign. Who's over here? Looks like soldiers. Oh! Look, I just fell out of a goopy puddle. What is a tree spirit? I see. Oh my god, he's already exploding. Ouchies. Interesting. Now, why would he be here? And my one thought is that it's because what's nearby? That tiny newborn minor Erdtree. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is why he's there. Oh, I didn't roll in time. That's unfortunate. But even this one, right? A lot of the other ones we've seen in like, actually all of them, right? We've seen them in like catacombs. So this is I haven't seen one up by the surface before. See how he is still all fleshy and putridy, kind of weird, gross. So maybe he is still like getting access to all these like bodies. Maybe it has to do with the shattering, you know, like there's just, you know, death and bodies everywhere, right? Dropped a golden seed, which is nice. Giant Crusher. A hammer made from a boulder, used in the war against the giants, one of the heftiest weapons in the entire lands between. After the giants were quelled and man turned against man in violence, this weapon was all but forgotten. Man has grown feeble in comparison to his forebears. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know, they probably use a giant weapon to deal with the giants, right? Got kind of a cross-like icon on there, huh? Cross guard and stuff. I don't know. It looks like there's probably some other design-y things like on the ends of the hammer towards the actual bludgeoning ends. But yeah, it's interesting how like maybe when they were fighting the giants, like all people were like sort of united, you know, and then it says like, you know, when man turned against man, the weapon was forgotten. Because like why would you use a giant weapon like that to crush a regular person outside of being a video game, right? All right, so now we're going to continue up this pathway a bit. Oh, look who's flying in. Second time something like this has happened. The first time was that dragon. This is a... Not saying. No name. Okay. Too bad I don't think he bleeds. That's alright, though. Maybe we can keep doing some decent damage. Ow. Look at the end of his weapon, right? Now, this guy's kind of crazy looking. So he's got a kind of... Oops. He has like a hollowed out abdomen look. Face is got like two colors to it. He's like... Looks like his legs was like almost like decayed and eaten out a little bit, right? He looks decrepit and kind of, you know, rotten almost. And the wings, like he was flapping his wings basically, right? Kind of slow, but look how they're like they're like one piece, right? There's no like individual feathers and stuff. They're almost like kind of melted together, but even his like claws section is not really flowing. It doesn't seem like it flows at all. The only thing that's kind of moving is the thing's hair, and it's pretty much just bones, right? That's how thin it looks. Like you can just see like the joints, they're very thin as far as like the limbs go. And the face, I can't get a super great look at it right here. We had a decent one earlier, but roll forward. Ooh. In, home. Ooh, big battle cry. Nice. Let me see. Trying to get a good look at the face. He's got like two colors to it. It's like a pale color along with that red. It makes me almost think like scarred in a way. And you can actually see that a little bit on the body, right? Some of the sections look a little more red. And look on the side there, how it's almost like, yeah, see, it was dark red on that left side. And then it's almost like got a line to it. Like almost looks, I wanted to say suture, but I don't think that's right. Kind of scar or line. Incision. So they're almost like it's made out of meat in a way. Oh, hello. Oh, you can hear the rock sound effect. His like wings are made out of rock. And even his weapons, look how they've got some like crap on it. Oh, please stop. I would like to heal, please. Got him. Gargoyle's great axe. I do actually like that axe a lot, even though it's not amazing in a way. But it's a bronze great axe wielded by valiant gargoyles. Just like the wielder, the missing parts have been mended with corpse wax, a patchwork of champions. Alright, so see, like, you know, it says just like the wielder, missing parts have been mended with corpse wax. So when we look at it, right, we saw there was that kind of goop on there. That's the corpse wax. So it had, you know, it's old and busted, so I mended it with like body parts essentially, or like corpse wax. Because I looked it up at one point, it's basically like what happens to some of the fat turns into like a waxy substance during decay or something. It's kind of gnarly, but so they use that to fix themselves. And like he says, it says a patchwork of champions. So when we were looking at too, right, it had missing chunks out of there too, but see, like they had like different colors and patchwork look to it. So it's almost like a gargoyle. I mean, gargoyle, it's a construct, and so it's like patched together with champions. So like, did they take these like champions in order to make them, you know, make some stronger thing to defend the Erdtree and stuff, or maybe, you know, if they died, they didn't want to waste them, so they went ahead and brought them in to use. You know, it's kind of crazy. The gargoyles are one of my favorite things, right? And them being gargoyles explains how, you know, the wings kind of were, how they seemed stony when we hit it, had that stone kind of sound effect. They didn't really have like feathers or flappy effects to it. So we're going to want to get down there. Looks like we can kind of, looks like we should be able to take a path down. Oh, there's a spring jump there. So if we can jump down there, we'll be okay. But maybe we'll get up to this corner. We'll see the finger reader crone and the door first. Fingers. Yeah, sure. Do a little bit.
The great tree, which begets the pillars of light. Oh, tarnished, hasten to the foot of the tree, and whatever you might face, the fingers will surely guide you.
Okay. What's the first line? I can breathe them, your fingers, yeah. Say the first. The fingers I served once prophesized. Okay, I missed that part. Tarnished would one day become Elden lore and restore the Golden Order, which, I mean, lines up with everything we've kind of thought about the Golden Order, that it's just not right. I mean, there's been contradictions between, like, what they, it seems like they should like and what they do actually want us to do with what D feels is, you know, their cause and order and what they should have versus Rajier versus what we read here. That line was Marika, and just like everything, it just feels off, right? And I mean, she says as much too, as prophesized by the fingers that she once served. And the fingers are all part of the greater will, which everything kind of falls under, right? So walking up here, look at that. A bunch of those like wandering nobles. 1, 2, bunch. We can see them up there too. Hey, I wasn't even gonna attack you, bro. Oh. Flintstone staff, cool. Yeah, see how there's a bunch up there. So I know a lot of them, right, fled the capital. And then in their unending journey, like if we read some of their stuff, right, abandoning their birthplace after the shattering, they are pitiful products of unending life, worn by the nobles in the capital, belonging to a family which claims a knight as an ancestor. So, right, they should be like nobles of the capital, but they've abandoned their birthplace. And so now they're kind of like trying to get back, but all the roads have largely been blocked, right? You know, you see them in Liurnia trying to make it up there, and they, you know, there's all these like carts and stuff trying to go through that side passage. The lift is defunct. They can't get up through there. You know, you find them wandering all in these big caravans down on the Weeping Peninsula or Limgrave, right? So there's all these sections where they're trying to get back here, but they can't anymore, right? Yeah, nothing really different across these. And this door is definitely closed. Now, one of the things that I kind of wonder about it, right, is like, are they all going to go crazy? One of the things I kind of wonder about, because when we look at the map, it's not like, oh, there's another road right here that takes us further in. It's water. So is there some kind of bridge that's supposed to be there that would like connect, and like the water's a defensive measure so that nobody can just like open the door and just come walking in? Instead, they have to rely on, you know, it's like a moat. It's a big moat. Or did something happen later and this water came in and filled the space? You know what I mean? Because like, I mean, this is pretty big as far as like what maybe a capital city is. You can see there's a lot of buildings and stuff. But in a way, like, I feel like I read it as a metropolis at one point. And so I almost feel like it should be filled all the way to the inner walls. Like, this is a huge space to have a moat, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. So let's go ahead and jump down here. We'll check out this place. There's the spring well. Oh, are we gonna make it? Oh, okay, we're good. I got really weird for a second there. We made it. That's cool. Oh, I see these blue flowers. That's like sorcery. So there's some kind of like magic here, I would imagine, right? Because we've always seen it around magic, whether it's in the academy, among one of those like magic towers of some kind. And it's still those like squirts, land squirts. Interesting. Oh, look, there's a beetle. All right, so we can use... I find Stormcaller is amazing for those things. It traveled through here, so we're gonna catch it right in this place. I upgraded the Knight Rider's flail a little bit because I do kind of want to use a flail. Prayerful Strike. Now, there's a little seal on the ground. I think it might be the Erdtree seal as well. Sacred Affinity, following skill, raise armament aloft in prayer, then slam it on the ground. It will restore HP to the self and nearby allies. Usable on axes and hammers. Oh, it's actually, no, look, it's not a Erdtree thing. It's a 2-finger thing. See how it's got the double ring there? That script is the script of the 2 fingers. So this is something from them, not necessarily like the Golden Vow of the Erdtree or Vow of the Indomitable. It doesn't even look like it has any kind of seal. It's just a vow. Or like the Sacred Order goes with the, Golden Order fundamentalists and stuff. This one also doesn't have a seal either, just kind of just lightning, I guess. Maybe dragony? There is a tunnel, and we're gonna check it out. It is the... Any moment now. Nothing? So weird it didn't come up with a little pop-up thing. Sorry, we can check on this. It says the sealed tunnel. Did it get sealed on accident, or was it done on purpose? And looking around, if we go and we spend time looking around, there's not really anything here, except for this one little spot here that looks a little out of place. And look at that. Illusion. The sealed tunnel. And here we've got the miners. Now, look at these guys. Well, one, he's got some wrappings and stuff, which isn't normal. But he also has poison, so that could be part of it, right? But look how he is, like, all actually, like, stone-skinned, right? These are the actual stone diggers. The other ones that we've been seeing in some of the magic tunnels, whether it's the Celian tunnel, Raylucarian tunnel, anything like that, they are sorcerers. They were, I guess, regular people at first who then started to sprout the, like, crystals and stuff. But see, this guy, his actual skin is stone, like the troll, right? So they are actually like rock, where the other guys, the sorcerer ones, the sorcerer miners, are like fleshy things that have various protrusions of crystal and rock. Vulgar militia, what does that mean? Forbidden, something dark and nasty that they don't want other people to find or have. Smithing stone miners bell bearing. That's actually a really good one for us to get. We need that. But that's it though, right? This pretty small mine. And look at all these messages. Door ahead, right? It feels like there's more. And when you look at the map, I mean, I don't know. You'll get some stuff later that kind of pushes you towards it. Like eventually you're like, how do I get to this divine tower, right? There's only so many paths that can kind of take you there. And this is one of them. And there's a reason there was a vulgar militiaman there, right? Right? Like, why is he's not guarding one single militiaman guarding a bell bearing for smithing stones? Nah, no way, dude, right? There's definitely something else going on. And that's the reason why it's called sealed. It's because there's some kind of secret thing, something forbidden that they wanted sealed up with illusions. And even here, look, they keep putting more and more just to like really try and deter people. And look, over and over and over again, like it just doesn't stop. Lots of roots down here, probably because we're really close to the Erdtree, right? Past down there, we can see there's a statue thing there. Now, you know, taking a little meta view of it. Oh yeah, look, there's a dude there. I was gonna say, if you see one of those statues that has a like kind of broken section to it, like, you know, you need a big enemy to break, you know there's a big enemy nearby. Uh-oh, I'm alive. Let's bring her to this thing. Come on. Abductor virgin, let's go. Whoop. Did I hit it? Nope. Okay. We're gonna try and do some blocking. Poke. Poke. Come get it, come get it. Got it. Rolling. Now we're good. Try and get these materials. Nice. Smithing stone 6. 3 of them though. That's pretty good. I do not like where I'm at right now though. This is kind of awful. I would like out. Could you please let me out? That would be really swell. Okay, there we go. Now we're golden. Ow. So really interesting that they are holding babies there. Like, why are they holding babies, you know? That was slick. That's why I like this weapon art. It's so cool. It's kind of like the Bloodhound Fang. The Bloodhound Fang one is also pretty awesome. We have to drop down this way because the path is blocked. But what do we see? Is bundles of those like watcher things, these weird snaky ball things that we see around jails. That's always where we see them. It's like wiggling around there. And generally, they don't do anything. Them exploding is a little different. But see how they got that purple, which makes me think gravity magic, right? Before they just erupt. So are they set here to guard? To be like little landmines and give their life up in order to like stop people, I guess? Somebody? I don't know. Because they're almost like sleeping, right? Their eyes are closed until suddenly you get close and then they notice you and erupt. There we go. Down we go. Now at this point, the mine has like ended, right? Because up there, that's like where we see some of the framework for the tunnel. But then right here, we're just dropping down. There isn't really any ladders. There's not really any scaffolding, elevator, nothing. Like, this is just us. Oh, look, there it is. So maybe the mine does kind of keep going down. There we go. But look, see how we get through there? Look at the sudden, immediate design shift. Fine worked stone, and we can see there's a meteor thing, which, I mean, makes sense because that's what these mines are always around, are these golden meteorites. A bunch of torches and stuff. You're like, this is obviously the boss room, even though there's not a fog wall. Like, we know it's the boss room. What are these statues? Oh, those are the statues of the guy holding the sword. I would like for you to move out of my way, please. Thanks. Yeah, just that dude with a sword. And if we look on the map, see how we're close to that divine tower, right? Alright, who we got? An Onyx Lord. Oh, he just kind of fades in. Now, we fought an Alabaster Lord before, but he was in a jail. All the other ones, too, they haven't been, like, bosses. They've just been, like, roaming, I would say, elites, maybe. And you can definitely see his skin does look a lot darker than some of the others, because that, like, white marking on him is way more vivid, a lot more contrast, right? Good try. He does bleed, so that's interesting. So he's not like made out of stone, even though they mention stone. But notice how his blood is not red, it's whitish. Can he frostbite? Oh, I messed it up. I forget how slow shield crash is to like start up. Didn't quite. Oh, broke my shield. Got a cool curved sword. The other one, I think, was more of a straight sword, if I remember right. I want to see if he does some other moves. It's interesting that it's just like a straight loincloth, right? The sword kind of glows white when he does that. Big sweeping things. He's got those like curved like elven ears. Very tall, lanky. Oh, and now he's doing the meteor thing. You know his proportions and stuff? You know what they remind me of? Is Gustok. Way back in Stormvale. I don't know what it is about them. Like, just something about like, the faces, even the, like, the arms, that the limb proportion and stuff. It just feels a bit like him. Gotcha. Onyx Lord's Greatsword. I have wanted to use this weapon before. I think it's really cool. So it's a greatsword forged from golden-hued meteoric ore. So see, golden-hued right here. The blade conceals gravity-manipulating magic. A weapon unique to the Onyx Lords, a race of ancients with skin of stone who were said to have risen to life when a meteor struck long ago. Race of ancients, so they're an old race. Skin of stone, but see how he didn't like ricochet. So like were their skin, are they kind of like the ancient dragons, right? Because what did the ancient dragons also were supposed to have scales of stone, where the new age dragons no longer have that. They lost it. And so like, is this an original, or is a progenitor, or is this like a descendant who no longer has that kind of stone skin? But it came to life when a meteor struck long ago. So we know these meteors like have some kind of life-giving effect, because the meteoric blade implies as much. There's also the like falling star beasts that we've been finding around meteor strikes and stuff that are basically made out of rock and stone as well. And so maybe that's where these stone miners, maybe they were given life as well from some kind of meteor long ago. Which then makes me wonder a little bit about the Crystallians, right? Because the Crystallians are made out of crystal, and they're kind of like a weird foreign idea, and they have some kind of relationship with like the primeval current and seeing beyond the wisdom of stone and stuff, right? Because that's what the sorcerers are all about, and they revere them, even though they are kind of like the primeval current's kind of taboo because it has stuff to do with like the seedbed of stars, right? But there's like the crystal staff fashioned from pure crystal, a deed impossible for human, enhances crystallians. Their faint cogitation is known as the wisdom of stone. Now, there had to have been another one. Maybe not. I'll have to find it, right? But I wonder, like, were the crystallians like granted life because it's made out of pure crystal, an impossible feat to create by human hands or whatever? So, like, was that something that was crafted by like a meteor, like by some meteorite landing? It granted them life. Makes me wonder a little bit. But now we can take the Divine Tower of West Altus up. We can check it out. It's tightly blocked shut. We can't even take it up. Okay. So we're missing some key piece in order to get in there. Interesting. Wonder what it is. You can actually see some of that black like stuff like dropping down. Like, what is that? They're so weird. The Divine Towers are very interesting. You know what? I think we will call it there. Just like we got this southern part right here done. Now we can go and we can work up along here. There's minor Erdtree. There's space up there, a building. If we actually look right there, there's something there. Like, there's a lot for us to do up on the top half too. So thanks for joining me. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed it. And until the next one, take care.